Hi and welcome to another tutorial of LEANalyser version 2.1. Today we will show you how to connect to databases with LEANalyser. Here is our agenda. We will look at the different ways of importing data to the tool, how to connect with SQL Server, the possibility of writing SQL syntax in LEANalyser, and how to export back to SQL. Let's start by creating a new analytical database. Normally we import data from text or CSV files by dragging and dropping them into the tool. But it's also possible to import data by creating a new table, naming it, and use the import function in LEANalyser to select the data source. Let's try to import data from a SQL database. We need to tell LEANalyser from which ODBC data source we want to import our data. This data source needs to be defined in an external tool. In the Mac environment, it looks as follows. So we use a predefined connector. We state for which data source we want to import the data, and for that there is a server with a name or IP address, a port, a username, and a password, which can sometimes be reused depending on which connector you have bought. This looks approximately the same under Windows, except that it's part of the operating system. So let's select the predefined data source called server1. LEANalyser directly tries to connect as there is already a predefined username and password, but as the connector doesn't handle this, we will need to enter it manually. And so LEANalyser tells us that it has managed to connect with the database. We can see that this SQL Server database has several databases, schemas, and tables within it. If I select the database called LNA, LEANalyser will look into Data Dictionary, get the first table, and show its data. I can have a look at another table as follows. Getting back to the table called Customer Germany, if I'm not used to write SQL syntax, I can just select the columns I want to look at, like this. If you're comfortable with writing SQL statements, LEANalyser interprets SQL syntax and you can modify and add as complex statements as you wish. For instance, I can make the following filtering in data and get the result. If I apply the changes to my Lean database, I can move on to prepare mode, and here I got my customer table with my 3 data lines. In the same way as we've been importing data to Lean from SQL, it's possible to export data to a SQL database. So, today we've shown you how to connect with external databases with LEANalyser. Thank you for listening.